Should we just do it?
Let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, hopefully I can edit some of the popping out. I can't figure out why it's popping, but we've literally wasted almost 2 hours trying to
mess with this bitch.
Yeah. And it's not working. We've done everything we could think of. Everything. Anyways, how the hell are you? Carlene's yawning away over here because it's like we've literally been at this for almost a couple hours now, if not more.
Yeah.
You want your cough medicine?
Yeah, cough medicine.
We're drinking cough medicine tonight.
People might think we're serious.
We have it's Strawberry Crush and Vodka because
oh my God,
neither one of us thought about buying wine tonight. Well, no, actually, Carlene did.
It's in my refrigerator.
She forgot it. And I didn't even think about it.
Along with my water that I never forget to take anywhere.
In case anybody's curious, Strawberry Crush and Vodka.
Tastes like cough syrup. It's good, though. I like it.
Yeah. I'm strangely into cough syrup tonight. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right, guys. Sorry, the sound is not the greatest. Oh, my gosh.
It just crackled a lot.
It did. The sound is not the greatest.
We're going to have to, keep it monotone.
Monotone.
And just talk like this.
Let's not move too much.
No. We have zero air circulating through this room.
We are sweating to death. Poor podcast
my
quality.
My boobs are sticking. You
Okay, I have no boobs. I don't know where all this came from, but all of a sudden, our listenership is up. It's so weird.
Thank you. I'm just going to say, it's kind of like when people are like, Carlene, I just saw Jesus walk across your living room. And I'm like, and they're like, why? Why would he do that? And I'm like, why not? Just say thank you.
Just say.
You don't need to know the why. You just say thank you.
We already can't talk because we've been drinking beforehand. Well, we've been trying to figure out the sound issues.
Okay, but wait, what were we just talking about? The listenership.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they must be digging this whole paranormal thing that we're doing. But you still get true crime because we're still doing true crime stories. Like today, we have a little true crime, kind of.
Yeah, I guess. It's kind of.
Yeah.
It's more his story.
It's his story.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Alma is rearranging the room as we are talking.
I'm just wondering if it's proximity of things, like all the cords next to it. I've done a lot of rearranging here.
Yeah, but we were fine last time.
Yeah. It's probably going to drive us crazy. Sorry, guys. We're going to be
We're just going to hurry up and get through this one real quick. Okay.
Really quick.
So,
I gotta go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'd like to listen to the second date update. What is it? John Jay and Rich.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I listened to that on their podcast thing. Oh, that was not an EVP. Was it yesterday or today? I was listening to it and I almost couldn't listen to it because I wonder if for their podcast they speed up the tape because, boy, that took me a second. The tape. Because they were talking, even a girl called in and was talking so fast that I couldn't even understand what she was saying. And John Jay would talk and he'd be like, yeah, so I can't even do it as fast. And I can talk fast. But it was like, so the other day we took this dog down to the blah, 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 and I was like, I don't even know what he's saying because it's so fast.
Really?
Yeah, it was terrible. I almost want to play it for you. It was so bad. And I'm like, they have to be, because then when the girls would talk, I could understand them and they were calm. So I'm like, there's no way he talks that, because it would have bothered me a long time ago.
Right.
And it was only the last two things that I listened to where I was like, I can't even enjoy this because I have no idea what they're saying because they're talking. They had to have speed up the tape.
Right.
To make them talk that fast.
Hopefully the popping is not too distracting for you guys. I'll have to figure that out in the next couple of weeks.
We're going to be losing some major LBs from water weight in here.
I know. So there was that.
Okay, listenership. So that's good. People evidently you guys are digging what we're doing.
Yeah.
If you have suggestions though, or we want you to interact with us, so like email us, well, Twitter
us.
They Twitter us. You can Twitter
I like
us.
to be twittered.
Oh. What's that other thing that we do?
Facebook.
Instagram.
I
know.
Oh,
I
did you see
said
that I put the
Instagram?
Did you?
The Facebook.
The Facebook.
Yeah. What?
Did you see that I put the
Yes.
PvP up?
Yeah. I made a little comment.
I did see that.
Yeah. Go listen to it. Put your earphones on or put your phone up to your ear so you can hear
I played it for my sister and she heard it. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell what I heard and she heard it.
Heard what you heard?
What I heard.
What?
Yeah. So I was
it would make sense because of the situation.
Right.
Like what I was doing and what you were doing.
Right.
Everything. I want to tell all of you because I'm hoping you will interact with us and be like, damn, I heard it and this is what I heard. And then we can like start conversing.
Anyways, it's on our Instagram.
Go watch it and listen to it.
So if you're new to our show, I see that a lot of people are like starting from the beginning. So
they're starting from the
very beginning.
The Yvette times.
Yeah. And so it's probably confusing.
Gotta wipe my nose. Yeah. Because they're going to be like, that doesn't sound like the same person. Damn, we liked Yvette. Who's this bitch?
Stop it.
Bring Yvette back. Yvette?
Huh?
It's Yvette.
Yeah.
Why does her name sound weird to me right now?
I don't know.
I'm saying it right.
Yeah. Yvette.
We didn't even drink that much. Cough syrup is strong. We're not drinking cough syrup.
I promise. It just tastes a lot like it. A lot like it. Anyways, I'm Alma.
Fuck. I'm Carlene.
And this is Tipsy Tales. And we are very tipsy. And we used to do true crime, but now we do
paranormal with a touch of true crime.
Yeah. We used to do true crime and paranormal, but we get carried away on the length thing.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it not so
lengthy. Oh, do you watch Outlander?
Yes, you do. But because I don't have Showtime or whatever, I have to wait for the episodes.
Oh, well, it hasn't started. The new season hasn't started. I don't think it starts until
I've only gotten up to season, because isn't season 6 supposed to start?
Yeah.
I've only gotten to 4, I think, because season 5 hasn't even come out yet.
Oh.
On Netflix or whatever I watch it on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, anyways.
Okay.
Her newest book just came out.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone.
Oh.
And so it's the next in the series. And I haven't started reading it yet. I have it. I pre-ordered it.
Oh, you did?
It's like sitting there waiting for me. I just have not had time to... I need time to sit down and read it because I know the minute I open it, everything else is going to go out the window in my life until it's done because that's the way I read a book.
I read like the first 10 pages and I'm like, I'm going to read this book. It's such a good book. And then I forget about the book for a while. And then I'm like, what happened to that book I was reading? I should read it again. Unless it's something that grabs my attention so much I can't put it down. Yeah.
That's what these books are to me.
I haven't had anything like that in a while.
You haven't had a good book in a while? Is that a metaphor?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a big book.
Ooh.
Yeah. You might, size matters.
I mean, yeah. Cuddle up with that big book.
We should probably just get to it before something
it?
happens with our computers. Yeah, that's all I could think of unless you had anything.
I don't think so.
She has more stuff going on with her cameras in the backyard.
We do have some spooky stuff, but
we spent about an hour on that.
We did a little bit because I need to find. Well, first we need to debunk. We had to debunk, and then I need to find like the real shit. And because I have to debunk it, I record all of it, and then I have to go through all of it, and I can't find it to play for Alma, so I have to get it all together for her so she can be like, "What the fuck is that?" And one of them, though, I'm not kidding. It's this. In one of them.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear that today.
No, that's one of the ones I wanted to find for you.
Yeah.
Because, and then me debunking, I was like, could it have been this? Could it have been that? No. Because then shortly after, you're like, there goes a car. That didn't sound like that. Because it is right in the speaker.
Right. Okay. Creepy AF. I'm not even kidding. I'm totally creeped out.
What did I send you, though, where all of them came flying after it happened? What happened? I can't remember that circumstance.
I don't even remember.
It was a sound or something, wasn't it? And then all the warriors were just like, "We got you. You're not getting in there."
They cleaned it out.
Yeah, that was a good
Nobody
time.
knows what we're talking about.
Well, maybe we'll share it with you if you all interact with us.
It's our own little private conversation here.
Talking
Sorry.
about spirit, crazy, weird shit that happens at my house.
I don't know. Should we get right into it before something wackadoodle happens to our computers and our sound?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't have any really crazy stuff to share, I don't think. I always forget, what did I already share? And then, what do I need to share? I don't think I have anything new. Keep this.
I think this whole computer thing kind of just zapped us out. You good?
I have to blow the sweat.
She's dabbing in between her boobs here. She's sweating to death. She is suffering for her art right now. She is a true artist.
Yes. I really do sweat a lot, though. I'm either sweating or freezing. If spirit comes in really, at my house, I'll either get a really hardcore heat flash and I'll be like, I'm old. And then I'll start freezing when there's a lot of higher energies in. And I'm like, oh, it's busy in here. I'm freezing.
That's crazy.
That's why I always have this guy, my shawl.
Anyways, the story we got for you guys today.
I think it's a good one. I remember I looked into it a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't do it. I found something better, I guess. But it's kind of the history and then the haunt.
Is that a dog?
I think so.
Okay.
The hauntings.
He's literally right between us.
Yes. And then we kind of had to decide, well, okay, so you tell them, because you wanted to do more of something on this subject.
Yeah. So literally this idea came to me because I've been heavy into the genealogy stuff. I think I talked about that before because my aunt and I were, going over a lot of the history with my grandfather. And she's telling me that he wasn't raised by his mom. He may or may not have been raised by his dad. We're putting in little bits and pieces of the history. But my dad's dad passed away. He didn't actually pass. He worked in the mines in Mexico and it was a mine accident. But he was in his 40s. And at that time, he never knew his mom. According to my aunt and according to what she knows. So anyways, my dad and them basically tracked her down. You guys are going to, it's not an EVP. It is a dog literally snoring under our desk here. Anyway, so they track her down and they kind of get a relationship going with her. And somehow my aunt ended up with a stack of these pictures that belong to her daughter from another marriage. So my dad, their aunt, whatever. So anyways, she told them stories that she was, and okay, I'm just going to preface this with every Mexican family has a story about their family members linking to Pancho Villa.
Yeah.
Or Zapata. We all have our stories.
Hold on. How weird is it that I'm getting goosebumps right now?
Are you?
All even down my legs. And I'm hot in here. And this arm, not so much. Can you see it?
That's weird. Hey, so what's that side? What are those different sides represent to you?
I don't know.
Because remember, you'd be like, if it's on this side, it's this.
Oh, this is mother energy.
Oh.
This is father's side, but
I just got goosebumps.
And what was your theory?
We were talking about my dad's grandmother.
Oh my God. Okay. And she could be like, because I did. I had some hummity hum with Pancho Villa.
That's weird.
Villa?
Yeah. So anyways,
That's
there
hilarious. I mean, wasn't he kind of like a
womanizer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big time.
I was trying to think I was just going to call him a Don Julio or whatever.
But it
Don Juan,
it wasn't, it didn't have to do with him because it literally his soldiers, their wives would follow them into wherever they were going. And also there were the soldaderas. They were women soldiers.
Oh. Okay.
You'll see pictures with them with the...
Oh, right. So that movie that I was watching that was actually a comedy but is about him. But some of it was kind of true.
Right.
So like the armies that he would get, the followers that he would get were, it was kind of like he was such a hero. But when I first was looking stuff up, and then I saw this thing, Tucson has this statue of him that Mexico actually gave to Tucson. And a lot of people are like, we don't want that statue.
Right.
And I'm like, don't blame you. He killed a lot of soldiers and a lot of Mexican citizens and U.S. citizens. He like he massacred. Anyway, he murdered a lot of people. Oh. And so that's how I was seeing it at first. Right. And then I was diving more into it. And then I was like, oh, wait, I see. There's a lot that think he was like Robin Hood for
the poor.
Yeah, like he really did try to help a lot of villages, and then those people in those villages would follow him, and that like made his armies grow, and then blah blah blah, he would end up with these giant armies. But in that movie they were showing a lot of the women soldiers, the men. He'd have like the bands playing. I mean,
the vistas.
Yeah, he went all out.
Yeah.
And actually, it seems like, at least at first, the United States kind of didn't see him coming or realize like what he was.
No, I think they fully knew who he was and what he was, but they used him to their purposes. And when they were done with him, they basically betrayed him.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he saw it that way because he had...
Oh, well, like, because he had been arrested, right? He went to jail, prison. He was in prison for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah, just for
an
a
escape.
Minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know a whole lot about it, but it made more sense to why he isn't, like, why he's kind of a hero in some people's eyes.
Yeah, he's one of those like polarizing characters in history that either you love him or you hate him. Yeah. You have your factions of people that love him and you have the people that hate him. There's no in between. It's like one of those things.
Yeah, and it's crazy how like even when we tell our story, there's some that are like it's crazy how villains get so much attention.
Right. I don't know that he was so much a villain.
No, but there's a lot of people on the U.S. side that would think he is.
Well, there's a lot of people on the
Mexico side too. But I'm saying like if he is portrayed as the villain,
right?
And they're like, this is how he died, and then they're like, isn't this amazing that he could be buried right here, or his body was chopped up? You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It could be Jack the Ripper.
Right.
You know,
we're always intrigued.
Yes, we're fascinated. It's
any historical figure.
Yeah.
Like, and he kind of gained like a legendary status too because of some of the things that he did, the things that he was able to. He was kind of this weird military genius.
He really was. Like that's what I mean, though. I don't think the government, U.S. government, saw him coming because he outsmarted them in a way.
Well, that was later on towards the end. But yeah, I kind of went down this rabbit hole because of that. And as I'm going down this, I'm like, there's got to be like a ghost story. There has to be like this good ghost story. Like he was like in so many different places, and I started looking. So anyways, I found some things, but there wasn't anything major. Except for the Gadsden Hotel in Douglas, Arizona.
And that's our story.
Well, that's part of our story.
Our story is we're going to tell you about
Pancho Villa.
And then we're going to tell you about
the Gadsden. The Gadsden Hotel.
And there you go.
And here we go.
And go.
So first, we're going to tell you a little backstory on Pancho Villa because he was this very interesting and polarizing character. Do you hear the dog snoring?
He's right at he's like laying on my foot.
He's like,
at least his head's not all kinked. He's using my foot.
And like you said, a lot of people likened him to Robin Hood, and to others, he was a son of a bitch, a villain, a thief.
Psycho.
Yeah. I mean,
he was kind of crazy.
He was.
Yeah.
You want to know something?
What?
He was a Gemini.
Oh, say no more. No, I'm just teasing. Wait. So let's go back to because did we finish the story about
my grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if my Tia was sure about this, whether she was a soldadera or if she was one of the women that was following the camps.
Oh, we have to find out.
Yeah. I'm looking. I'm like definitely looking through there.
Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Okay. So Pancho Villa or Francisco Villa was actually born Jose Doroteo Arango Arambula on June 5th, 1878. His early life is an enigma because he told so many fucking conflicting stories that it's really impossible to know what was actually fact or fiction.
Wow.
And in this way, like as I'm like reading and writing this and like my dad, because me and my sister are comparing notes, you know, about my dad, but my dad was also Gemini. I'm a Gemini. But my dad was one of those people, like he was very charismatic. And he made stories bigger. Like, you know what I mean? Like it could just be this, we went to the store and we came back, but he came back and it was like this whole Hobbit's journey, you know? Like
That's hilarious. That's adorable.
I got the biggest fish in the ocean. Really? Okay.
It was the last one. They said it was the biggest one. He went in the back and he got it for me. He snuck out. He went to California.
Honestly, does that remind you of somebody, another Gemini that is or was the president of the United States?
What?
Telling big stories.
Yeah, no.
I know. I just think it's a characteristic of some, especially men. I think it's men Geminis are more...
A Gemini ego?
I don't know what it is.
They have a Gemini ego.
All right. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I told you what his name actually was. And his father was a sharecropper named Agustin Arango, and his mother was Micaela Arambula. He grew up at the Rancho de la Cayautada, one of the largest haciendas in the state of Durango. Doroteo later claimed to be the son of a bandit named Agustin Villa. But according to at least one scholar, the identity of his real father is still unknown.
Maybe he's a Gemini.
Maybe his papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh.
So at the age of 16, he moves to Chihuahua, but soon returned to... And look, I know there's a lot of extra information here, but I am condensing this.
Yeah, because... Yeah, that's
there's a lot of...
Because I think... What was it? There was a reason why I kind of was... Listen, if we did history, this would be an awesome story to just do a whole show on him. Because there is a lot.
And he lived a very interesting and colorful life.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way.
And it's not like he lived to be super old either, right?
Well, I mean, he was...
Did he?
He was assassinated.
Right. So he wasn't very old, though.
Mm-mm.
But his life seems long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Definitely. No. And I didn't even put his personal life in here because I went into the whole personal life thing and that's pretty fucking colorful too.
Yeah.
But mostly this is just like his military exploits and his other stuff, his other extracurricular activities. Anyways, so he returns to Durango to track down and kill the hacienda owner named Agustin Lopez Negrete, who raped his sister.
Oh, that's right. And then he ends up going on the run and ending up with these bandits.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of where he learns his tools of the trade. That's the beginning of it.
Yeah, he learns how to be a thief.
Yeah.
Eventually, he became...
I gotta give him some, he was honor of his sister and don't fuck with my sister.
Exactly.
And then he just had to go on the run and become whatever to survive.
Right. And
he didn't have any education.
Well, he kind of did.
Did he? Because I thought they were like, he couldn't read and write, but he learned how to read and write later.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that early time, he really didn't have education. So he's kind of smart. He's really smart.
He is really smart.
And he really made
He wasn't kind of smart. He was really smart.
Yeah. And he made a life for himself.
He sure did.
I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong. It's just he made
it was the time. It was the times because he wasn't the only person out there that was doing banditry. This was like a very combustive time
in the Wild West.
And in Mexico too, because they were under the it was basically a dictatorship under Porfirio Diaz.
Right. I saw that part too.
Yeah. So and he was like for the upper class, the upper crust people, and he didn't give a shit about about the peones, or the people that actually worked the land, or the people that, worked under these haciendas.
And then when they didn't they finally get somebody else, and then that person kind of ended up fucking them all over?
But he had a big part in that,
yes,
too.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I get excited when we're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Okay, at some point he gets inducted into the federal army after being arrested.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And the federal...
That was his sentence.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did back then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the federal army is under the regime of Porfirio Diaz. Mm-hmm. Within months, he deserts to Chihuahua.
Yeah.
That's where my dad's from.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, maybe.
By 1903, he no longer...
What if your dad is an offspring?
I don't think so.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think so.
Does he resemble?
No, but a lot of the characteristics that I was reading in here resemble my dad, but I don't think there's a...
We're gonna have to get some pictures
family. I don't think there's a family way about this.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I mean, it only takes one time, one donation.
You're trying to muddy my family tree.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, I've almost gotten that far where I don't think that that's the case.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. But at this time, he's not, when he escapes, he doesn't go by Arango anymore. He goes by Pancho Villa, Francisco Pancho Villa, after his paternal grandfather, Jesus Villa.
I was wondering where he got the name Pancho.
Well, did you see how the story changed here?
Yeah.
Because first it was like...
Where do you get Pancho, though?
Pancho's from Francisco. I have my Theo's name is Pancho.
Okay.
And he's named after my grandpa, Francisco.
Yeah, because there's some family connection to Pancho.
Yeah.
I mean, just because we have the name Villa in our family doesn't mean grandma didn't, but great-great-grandma got a donation from him. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
She's gonna mess with you now.
She is. She's gonna. I'll be like, Alma, look what came over my cameras last night.
Okay, so until 1910, he went back and forth between thieving and an actual legitimate occupation as a miner and other things that he was doing. Then he meets Abraham Gonzalez, who represented Francisco Madero, who was looking to unseat the dastardly President Porfirio Diaz, and Madero, who was himself a rich hacendado from the northern state of, I'm going to get this wrong, I think it's just Coahuila. He opposed the continued rule of Diaz and convinced Villa that through his banditry, he could fight for the people and hurt the hacienda owners. Which, he was like, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
The undercurrents of the Mexican Revolution were well underway at this point. Madero was named a revolutionary leader, and his company won the first battle of Ciudad Juarez in 1911. The rebels eventually drove Diaz out of power, and Madero took the position of president, having named Villa a colonel. So he went from being a bandit to being a colonel.
Yeah, he moved up really high.
But even before this, when he was doing his thieving and his banditry, he was already making friends in high places.
Yeah.
So this is, of course, a very condensed version
That's part of his being charismatic and being able to schmooze certain people.
Right, yeah.
That was not an EVP. That was me. That was loud.
So like I said, I'm just going to give you a condensed version of the Mexican Revolution and Pancho Villa's part in it, and it's going to be fast forward through a lot of it. So Madero gets in as president, and it's rocky presidency, to say the least, and let's just say that the U.S. had their own puppet master here in the mix named Henry Lane Wilson. Did you... Okay, so this dude, he was basically playing everybody against each other for American interests.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was behind the scenes maneuvering things for American interests in Mexico at the time, but fucking shit up for the Mexican people in the process. So, they had just gone through these battles and gotten Porfirio Diaz out of his dictatorship, and they put Madero in there, and somehow Madero gets in the crosshairs of this Wilson guy. He doesn't kiss his ass, basically. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Is this where it gets messed up? Because I couldn't figure out, how did this guy, was he just a normal politician that makes all these promises and then doesn't keep them.
Well, there was a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
There definitely was some of that. And Wilson was under the Taft administration at the time. And he seemed to flip-flop his support between the rebels and the people that wanted to keep the status quo dictatorship boot on the poor, indigenous, and free reign to the wealthy. Anyways, I digress. Back to Villa. There was a lot of back and forth and backstabbing, power grabs, and the like. And one of those was by General Victoriano Huerta. And this guy was a villain whom Villa both fought alongside and also got on the wrong end of his horse. Huerta had accused Villa of stealing it, tried to have him hang, and Madero intervened. And Villa escaped, and eventually Huerta decided he wanted Madero's job, and he had him assassinated with the help of Wilson, who had decided he didn't like Madero anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
it seems like not much has changed.
No. No.
Honestly. I just got really hungry, and I remember Allie, her boyfriend Brody's in town, and he said he was going to get some Lenny shakes tonight.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Right? All right. Sorry, I just started thinking about them. So
she got hungry. She's like, shakes.
Lenny shakes with my M&Ms.
Mexican. I'm surprised you're not thinking about Mexican food.
Well, we just had that. I could eat that. That and Italian food are like...
Oh, yeah. Albert's always telling me I should have been Italian instead of Mexican.
Yeah, I kind of cook like one, too.
All right. So, yeah, Madero was assassinated on February 22nd, 1913. And with
See, if I move my feet, he moves. So now his head's all jacked up again. Because...
But he's comfortable that way. It's so weird. But then he starts snoring because his neck's all out of whack. We're talking about
the dog.
Apollo over here. Okay, so another dickhead rises to power, and Pancho Villa hooks up with Emiliano Zapata, who is another one of our folk heroes. And honestly, when I'm watching all these like documentaries and like reading all this stuff, I really like Emiliano Zapata. He just like seemed a lot more noble, and like his purpose seemed more pure. Like, anyways,
you know what I like though, that you can still see original footage.
Oh yeah,
that's so amazing.
Well, you know why? Because Villa he became a darling of the press in the U.S.
Oh, 100%.
And he really played up to it. He loved it.
Yeah.
He even signed a contract to make a movie.
Did he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Take it he didn't live long enough to make the movie. Wah, wah, wah. So Telly Savalas had to play it. Movie I watched.
Is that for real?
Yeah, that's the one
Telly
I watched.
Savalas?
That's the one I watched.
Kojak.
Yeah, Kojak. And the acting was so bad.
Oh, God. Telly Savalas played Pancho Villa?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. But the movie is funny.
That sounds all bad.
I was surprised I watched the whole thing, but I was like, oh, God. And then I'm like, I got to shut this off.
I know you sent me the link and I was like, nope, I can't do this.
But then I kept watching it and it's like, I mean, there are some funny parts and the acting is awful. And my dad loved watching Kojak. I would sit on the couch and watch Kojak with my dad.
I think my dad used to love watching Kojak.
And so I didn't know he was that bad of an actor. It was bad. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, don't.
No, why are you sorry?
Because all these motherfuckers are going to haunt me tonight because I'm talking bad about them.
That.
We're going to get that bitch while she's sleeping. Thank God I have good protection.
Okay, so I told you he hooked up with Zapata and Venustiano Carranza to overthrow him. Pancho Villa controlled much of northern Mexico, which are, of course, the border states with the U.S. And it's because of this proximity to the U.S. he basically becomes a media darling of the U.S. media. Let's just say that he relished the attention. He even signed a contract with Hollywood's Mutual Film Company in 1913.
Wow.
After numerous battles, this is why, this is now, can you, see his mindset? The U.S., it was almost he idolized.
Around like this.
Well, but he also idolized the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like he was playing for the U.S. interests too. Mm-hmm. A little bit. I don't know. That's the way but then the U.S. basically backstabs him.
Yeah.
In his mind, it was probably backstabbing. Okay, anyways, after numerous battles, Mexico's leadership changes hands to Carranza, who assumed leadership after Huerta, which it was because there was this whole void of power. They had this whole council get together, and Carranza just kind of basically put himself in that position.
Right.
So, it was more than that. But anyways, unhappy with Carranza and with the help of the U.S., Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata joined forces. And again, this is a simplification of everything that went down. The support of the president, Woodrow Wilson, was fickle, and he withdrew his support of Villa because Carranza was moving towards a democracy. So he changed his mind. Villa takes a lot of losses, and the U.S. basically refuses to supply his army, which they had been. In the end, he's left with 200 men and retreats to the mountains of Chihuahua to keep fighting. After the years of the U.S. backing him and basically feeling like a superstar, it doesn't sit well with Villa that the U.S. basically recognizes Carranza's presidency as legitimate.
Wow.
Not to mention Carranza's General Obregón uses his influence to make Villa look like a villain to the U.S.
Do you ever wonder why we will fight help in other countries, like when they are in trouble with
dictators?
Yeah, dictators, and
we'll go in there and unstabilize everything to stabilize it.
Right. And when there's like the what do you call it? Dang it, what are those people called? Like the
ambassador?
No, like what's happening in the Middle East? Is it Afghanistan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to me, that's no different than the cartel.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't we struck interest enough with everybody going, man, you need to go back to Mexico, to people that actually this was their home first, but
right.
Whatever. Okay. So go ahead, tell that to them. But why aren't we like helping them over there? Our neighbor right here.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we over there helping them stabilize their country that is so beautiful, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Mexico is beautiful. And then so that people can live and make a decent wage in their own country
mm-hmm.
and want to be there with their families where they were born and live safe without cartel coming after them.
Right.
Like, why aren't we helping that country? Like we've helped so many others. And they're our freaking neighbors.
Right.
We should be helping them.
Right.
But okay, that's sorry. Just you doing this.
But you see the history though.
Yes, that's
you see
why.
the history
You're reading this, and I'm like,
oh,
this is annoying. It pisses me off every time I think about it. Even before this, I get irritated because there is that is such a common sense thing, but nobody does anything about it. Everybody has to bitch about bullshit.
Right.
But okay, listen.
That's what we do.
Yeah, but you could. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna say something really inappropriate. Woo! Okay, go ahead. I'm for the people, by the people, all the people.
Okay. All right. So I don't want to paint him out to be poor Pancho Villa because he does some atrocious things that happen in his name, either with his blessing or by his order during the time on both sides of the border,
right.
Like we were talking about earlier. One of which is kidnapping 18 Americans in January of 1916. And then several months later, in March of 1916, Villa led rebels in a raid of 100 into Columbus, New Mexico, killing 19 people, which he lost 80 of his vistas in that raid. This attack was more than likely to get horses and ammo for his fight against Carranza. I mean, it was basically guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, right. Like that. I think that's when like people were making like that kind of stuff is why people are like, get that statue out of here because he just killed so many people.
Right.
And a lot of U.S. citizens. So, I mean, when I first heard the baseline story of it, I was like, oh my God, Mexico, that's a way to give him the finger. Here, United States, here's this beautiful statue for you. And then I was like, wait, there's more to this. Okay. It's not the finger, but it is to some people, I guess. But can't make everybody happy.
Nope. And I just feel like a
he's
lot
history.
Of polarizing, like that when you go to the Alamo, like all the names in the Alamo, when you really dig into the history of all these heroes, quote unquote heroes, a lot of them are pretty shady characters. So it's like, no matter where you go, what country you're in, you're going to have these heroes that they don't wear white robes. Right. You know what I mean? They didn't get to where they are by being the nice guys.
Completely.
Innocent people.
Clean.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Okay,
that's my take on that. Okay. In his response to the raid, President Wilson sent 5,000 U.S. Army soldiers under the command of General Frederick Funston, who oversaw John Pershing. It was basically John Pershing in his pursuit of Villa through Mexico. Fun fact. This was literally the first time in the U.S. Army history that the aircraft and trucks were employed, which is interesting because at this point it's 1917. So it's like 2 years into...
That was like the first
World War.
Automotive brigade or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that blew me away too. I was like... Huh.
And in that same year, we finally entered the conflict in World War One.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm listening to us, like I'm in the shower, I hear your phone go off. I think it's my phone.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, shit.
I know.
Oh, wait.
I try to cut out as much of it as I can.
It's funny.
And it still ends up in there. So it was a fruitless pursuit at the end, and it ends in February 1917. Although he did lose some of his commanders and his second in command, Julio Cardenas, and a total of 190 of his men, but Villa ends up getting away, and it was fruitless for the U.S. troops. And they pissed off the Mexican people because they basically like came into Mexico. Like they sent their troops into Mexico. Like
they didn't wait.
That's
for
an
them
act
to
of
come
war.
Right. They didn't.
There were bigger fish to fry because we had the World War coming on after that. Yeah.
It wasn't like we're going to wait for him to come here.
No,
they went over there.
Yeah.
I get it. Crazy.
So, yeah. At this point, Villa was no longer considered a national leader, but more of a guerrilla leader in Chihuahua. And after a few more raids, he agreed to stop if the government made it worth his while.
Oh my gosh.
So, on the 21st of May, 1920, Carranza, along with his top advisors and supporters, were assassinated by supporters of Alvaro Obregón. After this, Villa negotiates a peace settlement and he retires. He met with the interim president de la Huerta and he negotiated his peace settlement. So what did he get to stop his raiding? Villa was granted a 25,000-acre hacienda in Canutillo, just outside Hidalgo del Parral, Chihuahua. This was in addition to the Quinta Luz estate that he owned with his wife Maria Luz Corral de Villa in Chihuahua. Yes, there is a Chihuahua.
Where do you live? Chihuahua.
The last remaining 200 guerrillas and veterans of Villa's militia who were still loyal to him, because there was a lot of defections, could reside with him in his new hacienda as well. And the Mexican government also granted them a pension that totaled 500,000 gold pesos.
Wow.
All that to get him to stop raiding.
Wow.
All right. So Pancho Villa hardly ever left his ranch. And when he did, he had 50 armed bodyguards with him. But on July 20th, 1923, he went to, in some stories, a baptism. And in another story, it was to pick up a consignment of gold in town. And he only had 3 bodyguards with him. Well, I guess he just got cocky. Like, they're not going to come into he was comfortable. This is where I live. This is, While driving back through the city in his black 1919 Dodge touring car, Villa passed by a school, and a pumpkin seed vendor ran toward his car and shouted, "Viva Villa!" A signal to a group of 7 riflemen who then appeared in the middle of the road and fired more than 40 rounds into the automobile. In a fusillade, 9 dum-dum bullets, normally used for hunting big game, hit Villa in the head and upper chest, killing him instantly. And there's pictures. But you know what? I guess there's pictures of like all that 1922 violence,
like
even
Bonnie and Clyde and stuff.
There's I guess that was the thing. Villa was reported to have died saying, "Don't let it end like this. Tell them I said something."
Oh. Something.
But there is no evidence that he survived long enough to say anything. This is just like...
But he got shot in the head.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Okay, that totally throws out one of the stories I heard.
What was that?
No, we have to wait until we get to the hauntings now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Well, no, I think that story's true. The next day, Villa's funeral was held, and thousands of his grieving supporters in Parral followed his casket to his burial site, while Villa's men and his closest friends remained in the Canotilla hacienda, armed and ready for an attack by the government troops. The 6 surviving assassins hid out in the desert and were soon captured, but only 2 of them served a few months in jail, and the rest were commissioned into the military. All right. So getting to what you were talking about, I think you're talking about, is it Pancho Villa's head?
Did he have a tattoo on his head?
Oh, that's another legend. That's very interesting legend that he tattooed a map on his head.
Why would he do that? Because anybody could see it.
Well, no, not if like it's back here and they wore their hair longer and they always had on a hat or something. Yeah. Like your hair grows out. They shave it off, they put the tattoo, your hair grows back in.
I mean, I guess.
Not here. It wasn't like on his forehead. Is that what you were picturing?
No. But in which I know this movie was not based on real shit. It was kind of loosely based. But they were showing that his head got shaved when he was arrested, because they were like, ha, 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 you love your hair so much. And now, look, you don't even look like yourself. But then he got broken out.
Right.
And then he was like, you motherfuckers. But did he have a tattoo on his head or not?
I don't know. That's just one of those things that's just like legend.
Yeah. But, and then that would that explain why they're like, and is that the truth? Is his head there missing?
It is.
Is it?
Missing. Yeah. So early February 6, 1926.
So maybe there was a tattoo.
A graveyard caretaker named Juan Amparan was patrolling the grounds of the municipal cemetery in the town of Parral in Chihuahua. This is 3 years after his assassination, when he discovered something that shocked the entire nation of Mexico. The grave of the famous general, hero of the Mexican Revolution, Pancho Villa, had been desecrated.
Ooh.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Pancho Villa's coffin had been dug up during the night and his body mutilated.
Can you imagine being that person?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
But wait, if they took his head, then by that time he would have already been like gross.
I'm wondering if the legends had already like been circling around at the time, and that's why. Mm-hmm. Or if it was just like, fuck your head and go, somebody went and put it in a pile of shit, or like was trying to just like, because they hated him so much.
Yeah.
Like, because he made a lot of enemies in Mexico.
It could be. Like, you don't deserve to rest in peace, motherfucker.
Yeah. Amparan was reluctant to report the desecration to the municipal authorities because Villa's body had been decapitated and the head was missing.
Ugh.
None of the gates to the cemetery were damaged, which led authorities to believe that the perpetrators had climbed the small wall surrounding the graveyard. In his statement, Amparan reported that Villa's body had been in the grave for 3 years, and nothing unusual ever happened. However, when he returned to the graveyard after making the report, he discovered that the grave had been ransacked by souvenir seekers who had removed pieces of the coffin and other parts of Villa's remains.
What is wrong with you people?
And so begins the legend of Pancho Villa's missing head.
Yeah.
Did you know they even did a death mask? And that...
Yes. And there was a guy that, I think he worked at a college or something.
Yeah.
But he did like he got permission.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made some wax masks or facial. Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah. And then that like ended up in somebody's collection like for years, like secret collection.
Yeah, it's not open to the public.
No.
Crazy.
So there was several I can't talk.
No, I'm not yawning. My brain's hot. I'm cooling off my brain.
Overheated your brain?
Yeah, cooling off my brain.
Okay. There were several suspects, including Salas Barraza, who had just been released from prison for his involvement in Villa's assassination. Then a rumor that linked Chihuahua's governor and a Mexican general with a secret society from a university in the United States, which had offered a significant reward for the head of Pancho Villa. After that, the focus of the investigation shifted to any local American who might have had the opportunity to take off with a school. You wouldn't wanted to be an American in that city at the time. The suspect was an Iowa-born Swedish-American named Emil Louis Holmdahl, who had joined the U.S. Army search for Pancho Villa after the raid on Columbus, New Mexico in 1916. Holmdahl was arrested the day after the grave desecration. His belongings and his hotel... Did you hear that?
No. Oh, was it this guy, though?
It might have been. His belongings and his hotel room were examined, but no decapitated head was found. The American had been picked up for questioning on the day after the event, which gave him sufficient time to dispose of Villa's head. During his arrest and questioning, Holmdahl claimed he had spent most of his time at the cantina El Club Minero, and this was confirmed by many witnesses. He was released and left town. But in 1955, Haldane Brady, author of the Pancho Villa's biography, get the name of this, Cock of the Walk, Kikiriki.
What?
Cock of the Walk, Kikiriki.
Okay.
The Legend of Pancho Villa received a letter from L.M. Shadbull, which described an encounter with Holmdahl in El Paso Hotel in 1927. And the letter, Shadbolt, had been drinking heavily and met Holmdahl in the hotel bar. Holmdahl had permanently moved in the hotel after he left Paral. After a few days of drinking with Holmdahl, he was invited back to Holmdahl's room for a little shag. No, I'm just kidding. To be shown the head of Pancho Villa. Holmdahl told him he was being paid for the skull by a buyer of the United States.
Ooh.
And then, en La Muerte de Pancho Villa y los Tratados de Bucareli, written by Adolfo Arioja Vizcaíno, I hope I'm saying it right, it is said that the prominent man who paid that amount was an American named Frank Brophy, a man with close ties to, get this, Prescott Bush.
What?
The father to the 41st president of the United States, George Herbert Walker Bush.
You have got to be kidding me.
And the grandfather of President George W. Bush. The three of them were part of a group of Yale University's secret society, Skull and Bones.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have you heard of that?
Yes.
So
actually, they believe that there's like a lot of politicians that belong to that whole
Skull and Bones Society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
George Washington, I think.
Is he?
They believe even up until like today of like how can like every single politician has belonged to it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of secret societies that are linked to so many.
It's weird.
It was rumored that Prescott Bush took the head of the Apache leader Geronimo to display at their Connecticut headquarters along with the heads of other prominent people. That's sick. Okay, so now we get to the haunting part. Okay, so like I told you, like I was looking everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There was anecdotal stuff out there, but there wasn't really anything like solid that I could just like grab onto, you know. The only real thing out there that lots of people have claimed to see is at the Gadsden Hotel.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
In Arizona.
I was so ready to do a day trip.
Yeah, she was. She's like, let's go.
Day trip.
So apparently, Pancho Villa and a few others haunt this hotel.
Because it was like supposedly like one of his favorite places to go. That's what I heard.
Uh-huh.
And then they also say that his head is buried in the basement.
Right.
And then he haunts it. Like, I don't know if you have this, but I have that people have seen an apparition of him in the basement.
Mm-hmm. Go.
But without a head.
Yeah. Without a head.
And they know it's him because he always wore black and he's all dressed in black.
He's the headless horseman of the Southwest.
Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so apparently he haunts
the Gadsden.
But he's not the only one.
No.
This place is haunted as shit.
Yeah, and they have like two big old books behind the desk.
Guests
have written their experiences. I mean, they really own their haunting, unlike some hotels which are like, oh, it might be haunted. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that.
Yeah.
They like...
Why is your eye all red?
Is it red?
Just one. Yeah. I just noticed that. I mean, I noticed it looks smaller than the other one. Mm-hmm. And then I'm noticing more, right like now? It's getting more and more irritated. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, yes, they do own it. They appreciate it. They give tours. Like, they had this one manager. I don't know if she still is because they had this place. They did a whole travel channel thing where they came and revamped the hotel, I guess. But it's been through a few owners.
Right.
But anyway, God, what was her name? Did you get her name?
No.
So this manager lady, she would give tours and tell people stuff about, which was really cool. Oh, so then they were like, hey, how about we take you away from the management position and put you as like the tour guide position, which is great because that's what she likes to do. She knows all the history.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, they definitely, which they should own it.
Right.
It's kind of
all
cool.
Hotels should own their...
They should.
Own their shit.
Oh yeah, they should. But anyway, I want to just see what I wrote about Pancho. I think I just said it. Oh, did you hear this part? They also hear... So she said that workmen won't even work in the basement because they get freaked out because they see like past 5 o'clock.
Right.
Because they see like the shadows in the basement, and then they hear the footsteps they assume are Pancho Villa down
Which
there.
is pretty interesting because the hotel was leveled by fire and it wasn't rebuilt until 1929.
Right. Because it was originally built, 1907 or something like that. And then, then the only thing that survived were like these beautiful pillars, marble pillars.
And the
then
stairs.
The stair. Oh my gosh. And then that's the other part. And that's how I remembered I had thought about doing that story before, is because they say that Pancho Villa went up those stairs, went into the building and up the stairs with his horse, and his horse chipped one of the stairs, which is still chipped to this day. They never fixed it. And anyway, so he went up those stairs.
Yeah, and some people are like, well, the building had already been burnt down by the time Pancho Villa had went, but a lot of people argue that the stairs were still there.
Yeah, the
original stairs.
Nothing happened to
the stairs.
Which would
make sense if the building wasn't there, but the stairs were there. Because he was in that area.
Right.
He was in he did a raid on Agua Prieta, which is just a stone's throw from Douglas. So, and he was said to be in Douglas.
And he's that kind of guy that would be like, take the horse up the stairs.
Right. And yeah.
And
but supposedly his gold,
they think.
Somebody was saying that his gold might be buried under and his head.
Could be.
Could be. Or it could just be a way to get people to go to the hotel.
Yeah. Well, because then one of the hotel, this other lady she was some manager at some point or something. I don't know what she was. And she was saying that this is where I heard the map is on his head and they buried his head in there. And then the reason his treasure is supposedly somewhere in the mountains in that area.
Right.
Somewhere around there. Blah, blah, blah. Who really knows? It's St. Lost Dutchman.
I know. People the stories just get bigger and bigger. And you know what? Even in life, he was enigmatic because of his own stories. And in death.
People are going to...
People
carry those. The game telephone gets very big.
Exactly.
Hey, room 333 is super haunted. Do you have stuff on that one? Because for some reason I didn't finish a whole lot.
But
because they talk about how it's like the most haunted room in the hotel, but all I got was like the water goes on and off, lights on and off, TV on and off. But I have stories of other things in the hotel that have happened, but I don't have like what tragedy actually happened in room 333.
No, I did get one where there was I feel like in every haunted hotel there's a jilted bride.
Oh, always. And that's this one too, right?
Yeah, because didn't she kill herself?
She jumped. Oh wait, she jumped out of a third story window.
So maybe that was the room.
Yeah, maybe it was 333. But people actually for her. Because there was one thing I was watching. Okay, first of all, always be careful with the shit you watch, because these people. At first I was like, okay, they're legit. Like they were getting stuff on their little ghost box and stuff. But then they went out to this graveyard. Come on. EVPs are like that. Are like a little more difficult to figure out. Like they're usually a whisper. Sometimes it's Daddy, like that, you know? But very rarely are you going to get somebody that's like, I want to see my mommy. Like you're not going to hear that very often.
Right.
They're out at this graveyard and they're like, where are you buried? Where are you? Over to the left.
Yeah.
I want to buy my madre. It's like, damn, I wish you guys wouldn't have done that. You should have just left everything alone, because I thought you were credible until that point. And now you're like, I'm buying my madre. It's like, come on. And then they were like, oh, here's some stills that we didn't throw into the other stuff. And it literally, and I remember seeing the guy walking around with a vape. And it looks like somebody who blew vape smoke around, and then they took pictures. Like I've shown you how like archangel energy will look like It looks like smoke, but it's very grand, you know.
Right.
And sometimes if you zoom in, you can actually see some color in it. I don't know. I know I can when I zoom. Not always. Not always. But, well, even the stuff that what you and I were trying to figure out what that was on my camera, that didn't have any color in it.
Right.
Couldn't figure that out. But anyway, it also wasn't moving. So what was it? It could have been, I get like a fog on the camera. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But it wasn't on the other. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, blah, blah, blah. You have no idea what we're talking about. But I'm thinking he would take a hit and then blow, and then that would happen. And they take a picture and be like, look what we got. Because you might get that. That's a lot of energy. You might get something like that. Excuse me.
In a picture.
In a picture here and there. Like they had one after another. And it was like right there. It definitely looked like somebody blew smoke or vape.
Interesting.
And I was trying to be as open-minded because I'm like, I wouldn't want somebody to do that to us. But I just know how hard it is to get that energy.
Right.
And I live in a very active home.
Right.
That it's still very difficult to get that kind of energy. But
Sure.
anyway, that aside, they got some good EVPs though. And one of the things that they did was they left their cameras on that third floor and they left. You can hear them leave. And then you can see like orb energy moving, but you can also see the curtains, like somebody's moving the curtains. They don't say that in their little thing. They're like, you could see a light orb moving around.
Well, and a lot of time the curtains are right above the, you know how like they have the air conditioner in the hotel.
Vent.
Yeah.
I don't know because they don't move. They only move where that orb is.
Oh, okay.
And so it looks like the orb is moving the the curtains. So that I believed because nobody was manipulating the camera or anything.
Right.
But anyway, that's what I mean. Like they had good stuff. They didn't need to mess
it up with that bullshit.
Anyway.
So yeah, like you said, the water turning on and off.
Yeah.
Television turning on and off. Mysterious knocks coming from the radiator.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
And one lady, she said, my heart almost came out of my chest. She said, but then I thought, pray the Hail Mary, all was fine. What?
I'd be praying Archangel Michael. Well, Mary, too.
A guest reported hearing a key turning in a lock, then two figures walking in the room as if they just finished a day of shopping. And then they just disappeared.
It seems like, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know how I feel about that residual type energy.
And then one woman wrote of something pulling on her hair during the night, while another said she felt someone sit on the edge of the bed, then felt pressure as the person laid down next to her. Okay,
so did you hear about the little Native American boy?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so he's like 4 or 6 years old, somewhere around there. But I don't know when he died, if it was before, after, during the fire or whatever. But they say he likes to touch people's hair.
Oh.
And he likes to hold people's hands. He likes to play pranks on people. So, I mean, maybe that's who it was.
It could be.
Because, hold on. He's super active. They hear him like running up and down the halls, and people actually have seen him. Like, that's kind of cool. Did you just get goosebumpies?
Did you?
No. Interesting.
Yeah. And then I think we might have watched the same one where the woman was like talking about the different experiences people have, but she was talking about a woman in the 1940s who her husband or her boyfriend, her lover, had come home on leave.
This is so sad.
And they went to the train station. He waits till they get there, and he basically breaks up with her and says he doesn't want to be with her anymore.
What a piece of shit.
After they spend time at the hotel.
Yeah. And then he waits until it's time to leave, and he's like, there's another woman.
So she comes back to the hotel, and she hangs herself.
In the bathroom.
That's awful.
Not in a room, right? It was
No.
downstairs
like in
the
a
bathroom.
coat, like a coat, or was it a bathroom?
It was a bathroom.
Okay.
And then they say they actually have record of that one. Like it's a newspaper clipping of that one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Poor
so
thing.
they think she haunts.
Yeah, but I like the way she haunts. Like that lady was saying that when people get drunk, she'll be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. Like, oh. Whew.
Are you okay, Alma?
No.
Yeah. So That one, I like that one.
Yeah. But the Pancho Villa one, for years, hotel workers and guests have told of seeing an apparition around Lent.
Around what?
Lent, and
Really?
often the hotel's cavernous basement. Sometimes it's described as, like you said, headless, caped, wearing army-style khaki clothing.
Oh.
Elevator operator Carmen Diaz saw in the basement a tall man, black pantsuit, no head, she said.
Wow. Did you hear about the cowboy, the cattleman?
Oh, I don't remember the whole story. Yeah.
Yeah, they see a cattleman down there. Like I guess they used to
the basement is pretty active.
I think they used to have that as like the brothel area or something. I don't know. Somewhere around there was. And so
like a speakeasy?
Yeah, they're actually making it a speakeasy again. But anyway, okay, so this cattleman, which that's why they think it, because he actually shows himself in the long trench coat and then the chaps and all that. And this cowboy hat. Oh. But anyway, so they're like, oh, that's so-and-so. Wait, and there's also a Buffalo Soldier there. That Buffalo Soldier is the one that used to go down there and visit the brothel. Okay. That's it. The cattleman, the cattleman died. He got shot he was cheating at cards. And he got shot there and died.
Wow. Yeah, that happened a lot in the Wild West.
Yeah. And then there was the Buffalo Soldier guy, and he was visiting the brothel, so he likes to go in there too.
Yeah. Ooh. They have 2 binders full of experiences from guests.
I know. I wanted to get some of the stories. Like I got on this trip.
That was what these were.
Oh, is that how you got that?
Yeah.
Do you have any more?
No, not of those. But Brenda Maley, a restaurant supervisor for the hotel, said she saw the shadow of a body hunched over her one night as she lay on her stomach in bed in her hotel room. It happened just after a sensation that all of a sudden I couldn't move, which sounds kind of like
sleep paralysis. Yeah,
sleep paralysis. Okay. Oh, I did have this. The story has circulated about room 333 is that a young boy who fell out of the window and died now haunts the room. People will pay to stay in the room. So that was the story.
They actually get a lot of EVPs of what sounds like a little girl too. And it's weird because as much as they talk about the little boy, they get more of a little girl.
Right.
So I wonder if somebody just throughout the years, if it was a little girl that fell out.
Interesting.
Or the little girl, I don't know, because...
Yep. And then I put on here about...
We need to go do a ghost hunt over there so I can get some answers. I would love to go there.
And it's not that far from Tombstone, right?
Yeah, we'd go to Tombstone. We'd go to Douglas. We'd stay the night in Tombstone. Then go to Douglas and stay the night and come home.
We talk a big talk sometimes.
We actually need to do it.
I know. Pancho Villa's head is rumored to be buried under... Okay, this is what we were talking about earlier. Under the basement in the Gadsden. According to the Gadsden tale, Villa had a map to a hidden treasure tattooed on his head. Yeah. Villa loyalists took the head from his grave and buried it beneath the ashes of the Gadsden Hotel, which had recently burned down.
Oh, okay.
The hotel was rebuilt in 1929, and through the years, hotel workers and guests have reported ghostly sightings of the headless spirit. So I wonder where that legend even came from. Like,
I don't know, but do you think that, like, because of all of that, it's just restless spirits there?
You would think that, like, I don't know. I was looking up, is his car haunted? Is his estate haunted? Like, there's something in El Paso, but I couldn't really find it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
A lot.
I saw
there
that
wasn't
too.
A lot of information on it.
Yeah.
This was where there was real, like, people
I'm glad you got
about
some stories from people, because I was even looking on, like, TripAdvisor or whatever, and it's basically people just going, this place is truly haunted. You should stay here. It's gorgeous. The food's amazing, and you should stay here. So I was like, now you're making me want to stay there.
And eat the food.
Yeah, because I saw somebody eating the waffles, and I was like, oh man, I just want to go and have a waffle.
Let's go have a waffle.
And somebody was eating the Mexican food, and I'm like, oh, that looks... See, I'm starving right now.
Obviously.
Well, just because I'm talking about food now.
Well, that was pretty much...
The little Don Rubens sounds good.
Oh, I haven't been there in a long time.
Allie and I just had it the other night.
Did you?
So delicious. We have to eat there at least once or twice a week.
You had it the other night.
We should meet there for lunch. They have great lunch specials.
We've met there for lunch before.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yeah. and you started reading somebody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Why would you be sorry?
That's right. You like
it was
it
memorable.
when I do that.
It was memorable.
That's what.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it again.
Let's do it. Let's put it on our calendar.
Sure. After New Year.
Everything's after the New Year.
Uh,
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
yeah, did.
Did you?
Yeah, it's all right.
As
But should we tell our people what we want to do?
Yes, guys. So we were talking about this. We were hoping to our recording the week of the last week of December to do listener stories. So if you guys have your own personal paranormal stories that you guys want us to read, yeah, we would love to read it. And you could send it to us at tipsytalespodcast@yahoo.com, or you can message it to us on Messenger and Facebook or Instagram. So just letting you know.
Yeah. And if you're still haunted, you can call Carlene.
Yeah, do that.
Or Facebook or Messenger or email.
You can find all that information on tipsy-tales.com.
I get all quiet.
Obviously, we got the life taken out of us before we even started recording, guys.
It's
sorry.
Hot.
And she's dying. She's dying here. She's ready for it to be over. And she's also extremely hungry.
I'm hungry now. I want a Lenny shake, which my phone just lit up. So maybe
there's a Lenny's shake waiting for you when you get home.
I'm going to find out if I'm going to get one tonight. Because don't tell me you're going to do something that delicious and then not do it.
Come on. Anyways, guys, I'm
Alma.
I'm not Carlene.
All right. I'm Carlene.
Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate it. And sorry for all the static. Hopefully I can get it worked out.
Tell a friend.
Yes.
Spread the word. If we're doing a good job. No. Actually, and communicate with us because we're lonely. The highlight of my day is if I can read a message from you.
It absolutely is. I
actually
get super excited when
I actually check it just to see if anybody
loves us.
Several times a day. I'm like, anybody say no?
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.